Today Dung Fu invites you to listen to the Dhammapada, one of the Dharma of Buddha Shakyamuni. The 52nd verse from the Buddhist scriptures on the YouTube channel TN Thai in the USA. Like a beautiful flower full of color and also fragrant. Even so, fruitful are the fair words of one who practices them. This verse offers a luminous vision of how speech and practice can harmonize. Words are like flowers. When combined with practice, they carry fragrance. They become alive. They become nourishing. They become a source of benefit for all beings. The Buddha shows us that true teaching is not only spoken, it is lived. When we cultivate wisdom and compassion within, our words naturally arise from that inner cultivation. They are imbued with sincerity, clarity, and love. This is the fragrance of practice. In life, many people speak beautifully, but they do not lead to transformation. They are flowers without fragrance. This verse encourages us to unite speech and action, to ensure that our words are inseparable from our cultivation. Words become fruitful when they flow from understanding, from awareness, from the habit of acting with virtue and compassion. The beautiful flower, fragrant and alive, is the symbol of words that carry this quality. The practice of aligning words with action is subtle but profound. It requires mindfulness at every moment. In daily interactions, in meditation, in service, in teaching, our speech must reflect the heart and mind that have been nurtured through consistent practice. Consider the practice of patience. Words spoken with impatience, even if polite, lack true fruit. Words spoken with understanding, even simple and quiet, carry deep nourishment. Fragrance is not loud. It is gentle, yet it touches the heart and ripples outward. In our homes, in our families, this principle is transformative. When parents, children, and spouses speak with words rooted in genuine care, their speech bears fruit. It supports growth. It nurtures love. It cultivates trust. It mirrors the internal harmony of mind and heart. In communities, the same teaching applies. Leaders, teachers, and friends must ensure that words reflect action. Words that inspire, guide, or instruct are most effective when grounded in practice. The flower is not only seen, it is experienced. Speech is the flower. When the roots are strong, the flower blooms naturally. Its color is vibrant. Its fragrance fills the space around it. In Mahayana Buddhism, this alignment of speech and action is essential. Bodhisattvas speak words that arise naturally from the heart. Every instruction, every encouragement, every explanation is accompanied by the embodiment of the teaching. This is why their words are fruitful. This is why they awaken insight and compassion in countless beings. Each word carries the scent of understanding. Each action reflects the inner cultivation that supports the speech. The 52nd verse reminds us that the true power of words comes from practice. Words that reflect lived experience carry weight. They carry sincerity. They carry the ability to inspire and awaken. When our speech is rooted in practice, words spoken truthfully, even when difficult, bear fruit. They build trust. They foster understanding. They encourage ethical behavior in ourselves and in others. Consider compassion. Words of comfort spoken with a heart of genuine empathy touch the mind deeply. They are not merely sounds. They are expressions of inner cultivation. A kind word, when combined with consistent practice of generosity, patience, and mindfulness, becomes fragrant and nourishing. The verse also points to the importance of congruence. Mind-speech. Words may be beautiful in form, but their effect is diminished. The flower may look vibrant, yet without fragrance, it is incomplete. In teaching, this alignment is essential. A teacher's words are effective not because of eloquence or knowledge alone, but because they reflect practice. The student senses the harmony between the words and the teacher's actions. This sensing creates openness and trust, allowing the seeds of understanding to take root. Even in personal practice, this teaching is vital. Recitation, chanting, or reflection is powerful only when accompanied by ethical conduct and mindful awareness. Words alone cannot transform the mind. Words combined with practice illuminate the path and cultivate wisdom. The fragrance of words also arises from humility. When we speak from a heart free of pride, self-interest, or attachment to recognition, our words naturally carry the qualities of the Dharma. They are soft, gentle, and resonant. They do not force understanding. They invite it. In relationships, this teaching strengthens bonds. Families, friends. A friend who demonstrates kindness and integrity makes their encouragement meaningful. The verse encourages patience in the process of cultivating fragrant words. Growth takes time. A flower does not bloom instantly. Its fragrance develops gradually as it matures. Likewise, aligning speech with practice requires consistent effort. Mindfulness, meditation, ethical conduct, and compassion cultivate the roots. The flower of our words blooms naturally from this foundation. The Buddha's verse also reminds us that fruitfulness is not measured by applause or recognition. Words that carry fragrance do not need to be loud or ornate. They are effective because they are authentic. They arise from the depth of understanding, from the wisdom that has been cultivated through experience and reflection. In community life, this teaching fosters harmony, leaders, teachers, and collective growth. The fragrance touches all members, fostering peace and understanding. Even small acts of communication reflect this principle. A gentle tone, a mindful pause, and to nourish others with the essence of the Dharma. The Buddha's 52nd verse also teaches us about the ripple effect of fragrant words. When words arise from practice, they do not remain confined to the speaker and the immediate listener. They extend outward. They influence the hearts and minds of many, like the fragrance of a flower carried by the wind. Words imbued with wisdom and compassion touch countless beings. In Mahayana practice, this ripple effect is central. Bodhisattvas speak in a way that benefits all beings. Their words are inseparable from their compassion and insight. They do not speak for personal gain or recognition. They speak to awaken understanding, to ease suffering, and to inspire virtuous action. The fruitfulness of their words is rooted in their consistent practice. Consider mindfulness in communication. Every word spoken with awareness carries more weight and clarity. Unmindful words, even if well-intentioned, may cause misunderstanding or pain. Mindful words, on the other hand, express the heart's cultivation. They convey truth, kindness, and presence. They create harmony, understanding, and mutual respect. The verse also reminds us of the interplay between simplicity and profundity. Fragrant words do not need to be complex or elaborate. Even simple expressions, when spoken from a heart aligned with practice, carry profound impact. A single word of encouragement, a kind gesture accompanied by mindful speech. When we cultivate understanding and compassion inwardly, our thoughts align with practice. This alignment naturally manifests in outward speech, making every word a reflection of inner cultivation. Humility is another key aspect. Words that carry fragrance do not boast or demand attention. They arise naturally, softly, and gently, like a flower that blooms without self-consciousness. Fragrant words touch hearts without effort or force. This humility makes the speech authentic and enduring. In relationships, this teaching nurtures connection. Words that reflect integrity, kindness, and mindfulness build trust. They foster deep understanding and mutual respect. Conversely, words disconnected from practice may impress temporarily, but fail to cultivate lasting bonds. The fruitfulness of speech lies in the harmony of words and actions. Even in challenging situations, this verse guides us. Difficult conversations, conflicts, or moments of tension provide opportunities to practice alignment. Words spoken with mindfulness, compassion, and insight can transform potential harm into understanding. The flower of speech blooms even amidst difficulty, carrying fragrance to ease tension and foster peace. Consistency is essential. Just as a flower requires sunlight, water, and care to flourish, fragrant words require continual cultivation. Daily mindfulness, ethical conduct, meditation, and compassionate action nourish the roots. Over time, speech naturally reflects the inner harmony, producing words that are both beautiful and fruitful. The Buddha's teaching emphasizes authenticity over performance. Words spoken to impress or manipulate lack fruitfulness. Words arising from genuine practice naturally benefit the self and others. They are enduring. They cultivate understanding, compassion, and wisdom. They leave a lasting impression on all who encounter them. In the broader context of society, this principle encourages ethical communication. Leaders, teachers, and community members who embody practice in their speech foster cooperation, trust, and collective well-being. Their words carry the fragrance of integrity and compassion, guiding the community toward harmony and ethical conduct. Even small gestures and everyday conversations reflect this truth. A kind word spoken sincerely, a gentle encouragement offered with mindfulness, a patient explanation given with care, all these are flowers whose fragrance nourishes hearts and minds. Each interaction becomes an opportunity to align speech with practice and to cultivate the fruitfulness of words. Awareness in conversation is the key. When we speak with attention, kindness, and understanding, our words become vehicles of the Dharma. In daily life, the principle applies in both ordinary and profound ways. A simple greeting, a word of encouragement, or an expression of gratitude can carry the fragrance of practice. The verse also emphasizes the importance of integrity. Words that reflect ethical conduct, honesty, and authenticity carry natural fruitfulness. Conversely, words spoken carelessly or with hidden motives lack substance. They may sound pleasing, but they do not transform hearts. Practice ensures that our words are not merely beautiful, but effective and nourishing. In families, fragrant words foster trust and harmony. Parents, children, and spouses can cultivate speech that reflects care, patience, and love. Words rooted in practice strengthen relationships. They inspire openness and cooperation. They heal misunderstandings and promote peace. The flower of communication blooms fully when words and actions are aligned. In teaching and guiding others, this verse has profound significance. A teacher whose words reflect genuine practice embodies the Dharma. Students sense this authenticity. The lessons penetrate more deeply. Understanding is not only intellectual, but experiential. The fragrance of lived wisdom inspires transformation. Even in moments of challenge or conflict, fragrant words retain their power. Difficult conversations, disagreements, or misunderstandings offer opportunities to practice patience, mindfulness, and compassion. Speech that arises from a heart grounded in practice can calm tension, foster understanding, and restore harmony. The flower blooms even in adversity. Humility remains central. Words spoken with the intent to elevate oneself, to impress, or to dominate lack true fragrance. In contrast, words arising from humility, care, and awareness naturally resonate with others. They invite listening, reflection, and growth. The fragrance is subtle yet pervasive, touching hearts gently. The Buddha's teaching also encourages consistency. Just as a flower requires ongoing care to maintain its color and fragrance, words require continual cultivation, meditation, ethical conduct. In communities, the impact of fragrant speech extends far beyond individual relationships. Leaders, teachers, and practitioners who embody this principle inspire ethical behavior, mutual respect, and cooperative effort. Their words guide collective action, cultivate understanding, and foster a culture of mindfulness and compassion. The fragrance of authentic speech strengthens the moral fabric of society. Even the smallest gestures reflect this teaching. A kind remark, a mindful inquiry, a gentle suggestion offered sincerely contributes to the harmony of human interactions. Words grounded in practice create ripples that extend beyond the immediate conversation. They touch hearts. Like a flower that is vibrant in color and rich in fragrance, speech aligned with cultivation nourishes minds, hearts, and lives. It supports awakening. It spreads harmony. They arise naturally from a heart and mind cultivated in the Dharma. This alignment creates trust, understanding, and inspiration in every interaction. In daily life, this means observing our speech and refining it through practice. Words spoken in irritation or ego may look sincere but lack fruit. Words spoken in patience, humility, or even casual conversation can bear the fragrance of the Dharma when rooted in practice. In families, relationships, and communities, this alignment strengthens connection and trust. Parents, children, friends, and colleagues respond to words that carry authenticity. Conflicts are resolved more gently. Guidance is received more openly. The environment becomes fertile for virtue, patience, and understanding. For teachers and spiritual guides, the verse underscores the importance of example. Words alone cannot awaken insight. They must be accompanied by the embodiment of the Dharma. The student senses the alignment of action and speech. The fragrance of lived practice supports learning, reflection, and transformation. Even in challenging circumstances, fragrant words retain their power. Difficult conversations, tense interactions, and misunderstandings offer opportunities to cultivate mindful, compassionate speech. Words rooted in practice ease tension, foster clarity, and restore harmony. The flower blooms even in adversity. Humility, patience, and sincerity are the essence of fruitful speech. Words that seek attention, praise, or self-interest lack fragrance. Words that reflect humility, care, and insight resonate naturally. They are received with openness. They inspire reflection and encourage virtuous action. The Buddha also teaches the long-term effect of such words. Like a fragrant flower, the impact extends beyond the immediate moment. Seeds of understanding and virtue planted through mindful, practiced speech continue to grow. They influence others subtly yet profoundly. They ripple outward, touching many hearts and lives. Consistency and continuous cultivation are essential. Just as a flower requires nourishment to maintain its beauty and fragrance, speech requires ongoing practice. Meditation, ethical behavior, compassion, and wisdom are the roots. Words bloom as the natural expression of this cultivation. Every moment of mindful speech becomes an opportunity to practice, teach, and awaken. Symbolizes the harmonious union of speech and action. It embodies the fruitfulness of ethical living, mindfulness, and compassion. It guides all beings toward awakening. May we cultivate this principle daily. May our words reflect our practice. May they carry wisdom, compassion, and insight. May our speech nourish hearts, inspire understanding. I wish to bring this merit towards all disciples and sentient beings, all of whom will attain Buddhahood. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I really appreciate your time.